Welcome back, everybody. It's time for game number 2 of Team Liquid versus Empire. I'm LD.
And I'm Gods, and we've got ourselves Empire losing 3 games in a row. They've got to somehow turn things around here.
Yeah, their backs are up against it. They lost 2 to Navi. Now we're going to see them lose 1 to Liquid. If they lose one more game, they are out of the tournament. They have to win the next 2. As for Liquid, they've got a game to play around with here, Gods.
Yes.
Moving to game 3. If they lose this one, no big deal. If they take this one, they move on. They await the loser then of Navi versus Alliance.
Yeah, loser of this match does walk away with $2,000 for 4th place, so still a decent chunk of change for their efforts in the WePlay Dota tournament, but $25,000 in total up for grabs, and all those 4 teams left remain will be gunning for that top place.
So let's dive into the draft here for game number 2. The draft started with Liquid taking a first pick Lich. They actually banned the Naga and Luna from Empire, and neither of those heroes really did much for them last game, I felt.
Yeah.
But Empire, perfect response versus a Lich. You give away a Lich, you want yourself a Chen. Creeps can tank the Chain Frost. Lich, not the best hero at stopping pushes in the early to mid game. And Chen, just a hero that can abuse the passivity of a Lich by farming freely in the jungle.
Yeah, and Bounty Hunter's a great little pick as well here to be very disruptive and just annoy Liquid in whatever lanes they have here. Liquid may be looking to sort of avoid Bounty Hunter against a safe lane, dual lane, or tri lane. They may just try to get 1v1 matchups. They get the Timbersaw for now. Something which Koikva as well as Bulba can both play. Generally, it's Koikva playing this hero though, and it was banned out in the first stage last game for a reason. Empire know Liquid love to use this hero.
They had a lot of success with it in their first match against Alliance yesterday.
Yeah.
Not so much success in game 3, where they ended up dropping it and losing the series. So we'll have to see whether or not it's effective this game. Good against Chen in general, though. Gives you a lot of spam and just a hero that can help slow down and even stop the pushes in their tracks. Now we move into the second stage of the draft. And Empire start to have to tip their hand a bit here. What's Scandal going to be playing mid? Well, the secondary support comes out now. They go for the Bane, which was banned last game. I believe Navi also banned it in the second stage of one of their games versus Empire. So teams know that Empire like to run this as a support, but this game it does slip through.
So they'll grab a Bane Chen combo, which is okay. They need some actual real damage output with these last 2 heroes of theirs, but they still need to pick up their carry hero as well as their solo mid. I'd like to see them even just go back for like the Weaver or something. The Weaver for a long time was getting picked up quite often, but since the new patch, teams have just kind of stopped going for it. He received a tiny nerf. Like it was something. I
don't even remember reading about that, so maybe you can look it up.
Yeah.
But,
base attack time nerfed from 1.7 to 1.8.
That's almost meaningless.
I bet say I remember reading this like I don't even know what that means. Like,
I mean,
but it's 1.7 to 1.8.
Basically, the lower your base attack time is, the less like your maximum possible attacks per second will be.
Okay.
With, depending on how much IAS you have, and basically it's how much time is naturally occurs between each attack before you throw in your increased attack
so
speed.
it's the smallest amount of time,
So
really.
he takes an extra 0.1 per second between attacks. Now that is reduced anyway by your increased attack speed.
Yeah.
The thing with Weaver as well is he's not like a pure right-click hero. He's always Sakuching, then he auto-attacks, so that's where that nerf, I don't even think affects him at all.
No.
But basically
I feel Weaver's a very well-balanced hero to begin with, and it's something which teams have just decided, hey, let's try out these new heroes, these other heroes that have come in being buffed up and maybe even stronger now, but Weaver I think is still fantastic.
Yeah, it would be a decent pick here. I think the main issue with going for like a Weaver is he just doesn't offer you much sort of team fight. There's no lockdown, and Empire already lacking in that department. So I guess the safer pick would be something like a Gyrocopter, sort of your main damage dealer. As for Liquid, they go back for the Crystal Maiden. We still don't know what Bulba's playing. So they get a very aggressive support to complement the very passive Lich. We don't know what Bulba's playing, and we don't know what TC's going to play. So Liquid also looking for both of their carries here.
Yeah, Liquid would be looking at some kind of a dual lane step here. You generally don't want to be running Lich as like a tri lane. Just he's kind of defensive. You want putting him with a Crystal Maiden. They don't really synergize all too well. So they'll probably go with like a CM dual lane in the safe lane. Literally either dual lane, middle lane, or top lane. So Empire have to be preparing for Lich denying experience from one of their solos. Scandal can pick up something like an OD for the mid lane for himself, but if he's that's basically a signal for Liquid say, okay, you want an OD mid, we're sending the Lich there to deny all your experience.
Yeah, I think it's where you even want a solo that can just go farm the jungle as well, like Shadow Fiend potentially.
Yeah.
Liquid don't have the best roaming early on. CM's decent, but we'll have to see if their solo mid is a hero killer. Even something like a Dragon Knight wouldn't be too bad, because it's a hero that doesn't need the best start to still have an impact later on.
Yeah, I like the Dragon Knight. Dragon Knight's always just
and
there.
It works well with the Chen. It's just a well-rounded hero.
He's a staple hero that's just like never going to disappear, I feel like, from being competitively viable. He's just got a great skill set. He's not ridiculously strong or overpowered, but he fits into a lot of drafts, and this is definitely one of them.
the biggest change to Dragonite over the past like year, I think like 2 years, was that change where Dragontail became a range stud. Happened like a year ago.
Yeah.
Before that, he wasn't that strong. He still fit into some lineups decently, but he's only gotten better since then. Now his level 2 ultimate also applies the Poison Breath to towers. Still continues to be a very impactful hero. So we'll see what Empire goes for. This next pick pretty much opens the book as far as their draft goes. They have to tip their hand now. You know it's an off-lane bounty hunter most likely. You know it's probably going to be a defensive jungle Chen and a Bane that's either roaming or jungling with the Chen, but you don't really know what Empire is going to do as far as their overall game plan until this next pick.
Yeah, and they're thinking things through here, because if they pick up a mid here, then it sort of leads Liquid into easily deciding how they want to go with their draft, whether or not they counter. I think that maybe better option is just to pick up their carry of choice, because it's going to be a Weaver. So the Gyrocopter was there. They go for the Weaver, though.
They could maybe even go for both here.
Yeah.
I do feel they still need more
solo
damage.
mid.
They still need more damage here for Empire. This is not enough yet.
Yeah, and Weaver could well be a solo mid option for Empire here, but we'll see exactly what Liquid wants to get first. They've got Liquid's in a similar boat. They've got their 2 supports. They've got their offlaner most likely, the Timbersaw. They pick up a Mirana again. Liquid really favoring this hero as of late.
Yeah, absolutely. Mirana's the choice, and they do have a Frostbite arrow combo, which is kind of cute, but Liquid's been running it a lot as like a safe lane farmer for TC, which I find a little curious. If you just want a safe lane farm a hero, last game they did have the disruption arrow combo, but aside from like the first blood, Mirana was just farming like 85-90% of that game. I feel like there are better heroes for that. Gyrocopter, Shadow Fiend, just heroes that scale more, scale well in general. The one nice thing with Mirana, she's fairly self-sufficient. She doesn't need a whole lot of help to stay alive. She's pretty mobile.
You can always help out the fights with us just by popping a Moonlight Shadow, although Empire have track, last game they had Sentry Ward, so it's not the easiest thing to get involved with.
Oh, Liquid with a Night Stalker ban. Interesting.
Okay.
That would have been a nice way to complete this Empire draft. It does seem like more of like a ganking face rush kind of lineup. Not really built particularly to team fight, especially compared to Liquid. Lots of AoE, lots of lockdown for them.
All right, well, both teams still need their solo mid, unless Liquid want to run the Timbersaw mid, which they could well be doing here. If they want to get something like a Nature's Prophet or a Lone Druid again for the offlane for Quakefoot. And Lone Druid, not bad here once again. It's always nicer to have Quakefoot plays it very well, as we saw last game.
Yeah, Empire, that last pick coming out. What is it going to be? It'll be an Invoker here.
Scandal kind of like he was the first one to go for that Yule's Sunstrike combo on the Invoker.
Yeah, I would say he invented it. I'm sure Bulba would claim that he did, but that's baloney.
Yeah, he was definitely one of the first to be doing it, at least in competitive Dota. Like it was Scandal who was going for the Yule's Sunstrike, Deafening Blast Meteor combo, and Bulba going to get the Dragonite. So you mentioned this hero, and it's going to be Liquid taking it up, and I like this for this draft. It fits in well. It gives him a reliable stun and lockdown, a semi-carry of sorts as well, because your Mirana can't really do it all on her own.
Well, meanwhile, Bulba, Dragonite will be the choice, as you mentioned, and looks like a solo mid Dragonite. Then you mentioned the dual lane, so probably Crystal Maiden Mirana and Timbersaw Lich. Pretty balanced lanes overall, and they could potentially kill the Bounty Hunter in the off lane, which I think is the big thing for Liquid. You Frostbite into an arrow, and if the timing and angle is right, Mag will drop. As for Empire, it does look to be a solo mid Invoker against Dragonite, which I would actually say with the new Exhort Invoker just being a little bit stronger in general, having 2 spells early, that could be a decent matchup for Scandal.
Yeah, and Bottle Crow being nerfed is probably actually quite a big nerf to Dragonite. He was one of the heroes who did kind of over-rely on it in the middle lane in general, so it's going to be a lot harder for Bulba. He'll go for the straight bottle, but you can't really Bottle Crow until that 3-minute mark properly when you have got the Flying Crew, which, yeah, it does hurt Dragonite a little bit with the new patch.
Scandal is going to start for the Null Talisman build, and he has been pulled. And on that note, let's introduce our teams. Let's get into game number 2 of this best of 3, our final WePlay match for the day. Scandal going to be playing your Invoker, heading to the mid lane. Always Want to Fly, going to be playing that support Bane. He's heading top. Silent on your carry Weaver, also pulled. Going to be playing that Weaver. Bank score on the Chen. Mag on the off-lane Bounty Hunter, I do imagine, but for now, it's Empire just really guarding their jungle. Do not want Liquid blocking any camps.
Well, as for Team Liquid, they're going to be on the raid. It's like Quakefoot, the European, the German star, going to be playing on the off-lane Timbersaw. We've got Bulba on a solo mid, dual lane Dragonite maybe. Wei-Chu's going to be playing the Lich, maybe starting off in the mid lane, helping out Bulba a little bit. In the safe lane, it's going to be the Crystal Maiden of Fluff and Stuff, laning with the TC Mirana. And this could just be a straight-up dual lane mid. Invoker is very, very level dependent. If you're denying him experience and getting extra experience yourself, that will hurt him a lot. And Lich isn't really needed bottom. Like, I mean, they can probably... If Bounty Hunter is kind of coming out of the lane, they can kill him without the Lich. If he's not coming out of the lane, Lich is just there doing very little.
It's almost where you wonder if they should just think about switching the Weaver with Invoker, because Weaver, although level dependent, not nearly as much as an Invoker.
Yeah.
The issue, I guess, is... The one issue I see for Empire is they don't have anyone who's particularly adept at dealing with the Timbersaw in the offlane. So, Quakefa, even against this Weaver-Bane combo, it's annoying, but their ability to kill him is fairly limited. Weaver's auto attacks do not hit that hard. They also are going to proc the reactive armor repeatedly with the double auto attack, so it'll be at max rank pretty much constantly.
Yes. Well, it looks like just one Kryptonite coming out from Lich in the middle lane, then he immediately rotates toward bottom, so he will be looking to, I guess, give his team some extra experience by denying here, and maybe just looking for some pull-throughs, because other than that, it's very unlikely they kill the Bounty Hunter unless Mag really just oversteps his boundaries.
Yeah, he has an Invis rune. He blocked the camp to start off with. Already a sentry plopped down in the lane. Mag should see that as the Crystal Maiden walks right by him. Fluff even sitting on Dust, so they definitely want to kill him, but as long as he plays it right, well, yep. Liquid are going to have a hard time doing it. The camp is about to spawn. Mag, content to leash lane experience. Already about to hit level 2. He is now visible. Actually, no, Liquid's ward does not see him. Just found the one narrow dark spot.
Well, he's hiding from the Observer Ward. He's just out of range of the Sentry as well, so this position from Mag is picture perfect.
But Fluff is just jungling now. So
yep.
Jungle Crystal Maiden. Your Lich will get, even though they're dual laning the Lich and he's not pulling, it works out okay because of that extra experience you get.
Yeah.
Oh, already middle lane. Bank score on a courier gank. He's going to troll trap it.
Oh, nice.
Oh, big plays. Bulba. They timed that one perfectly. The bottle goes down. And Liquid going to get a taste of, well, the medicine that Funnick gave them earlier today. That's 2 courier deaths for them.
Was that the bottle
4 games.
Going back to base to refill his bottle, or was that like his new bottle coming out?
I think it's 130, so that's his initial bottle, I believe.
Okay.
Which means Bulba never got to use it yet. Yeah, he's still really low in mana.
Yeah, unless... Yeah, I guess maybe he could have used it all after the bottle. But yeah, you can't really... It's really tough to get your courier out. And with a hero like Chen, it's so easy to camp that. You know the Dragon Knight's rushing a bottle, and this is, I guess, the one thing I don't like about the courier upgrade change, is that doing something like that is just so easy. The only option for Dragon Knight is to walk back to his tier 2 tower to pick up his items, which I feel is, like, really hurtful for solo mid heroes.
At the same time, you do have to invest a smoke gank in that, and if they do walk back to their tower, then you've just wasted a whole lot of time. So
yeah.
It's like a full level or so for Chen at least, so that's what he could get out of the jungle during that time. It is a trade-off, but I didn't mind the old way, to be honest. I mean, there's still Bottle Crow in the game. It hurts Bottle Crow in heroes a bit, but it doesn't hurt them that much.
Yeah, they're still regen pulling as well, so... All these things, they've been nerfed. I think IceFrog says, hey, look, we don't want to get rid of these. These are cool little mechanics in the game, but they're just a bit too strong. If they're happening every game, you see your solo mid and your offlane hero getting pulled tangos and salves, so I think it's nice that they do get nerfed slightly.
In the offlane, Quakefa really soaking up a lot of experience. He hits level 4. As for your Bounty Hunter for Mag, slightly behind, only at 3, and Fluff jungling freely on the Crystal Maiden. He's done quite well. Looks like Way 2 came mid. Denied a creep. Just wanted to pull the lane back for Bulba and help make up for... Well, it's not like he's having a tough time, though. He's 16-0 and still with relatively full HP. Out comes your Forge Spirit. The Cold Snap's there as well. Will be an annoying lane for the Dragon Knight until he hits level 6, but that's pretty much the story of every Dragon Knight's level.
Yeah, it was going to be it'll probably be okay once he gets his bottle and boots out now, but he's got to wait for the courier to respawn in 1 minute. So for the time being, Lich is actually rotated mid once again just to help Bulba out against this Invoker.
Yeah, and now another rotation from Empire. They're going to head towards the middle lane. No smoke this time. But Liquid don't have a ward top. They only place their lane ward on the bottom side. Another sentry deployed by Fluff. Once again, going to be off the mark. Not going to find that Bounty Hunter who's off checking the bottom rune. He'll wait for 15 seconds. No, coming back to the lane. They're waiting to wrap around top. This would be a big kill, but Way 2. He's going to check the top rune. This would be the perfect time. And they've spotted him here. He's actually trying to stack the Ancients for the Dragon Knight. He's going to wrap around, head to the left. He'll probably walk back up the ramp and right into their waiting arms. Oh, Way 2, you are so royally screwed. Right into the Centaur Stomp, right into the right clicks from Scandal. They'll give him the first blood, and that is going to be a very fast hand of Midas. That is the ideal situation for Empire.
Yeah, getting your Invoker the kill there. It gets him up to 1,400 gold. He's got boots already as well, so this will be a minus boots maybe around the 5-6 minute mark. And they're looking to rotate top. Yeah.
Quakefa could be in trouble here as well. Sleep going to set up a Centaur Stomp. It has come off cooldown. Silent, no Swarm though. Can they get this kill without it? Sakuchi cooling down. They're going to have to dive for this one. Diving deep, in fact. Quakefa low. Can Silent finish the job? Yes, he can. Gets a much needed kill. Levels up time lapse. Has the stick charges. Can time-lapse out of this dust and then look to Sakuchi away. He has been frostbitten. He might end up going down. Now he's visible. He's got to stay away from the tower, but he runs into it. Looked like he was dead to rights regardless, and always want to flying now scurrying to the right, but they get the kill in the offlane Timbersaw. They force Liquid to rotate 3 heroes top, and all things considered, still, to me, a good trade for Empire.
Yeah, still not bad for Empire. There is still Bulba to worry about in the mid lane. He's actually going to, well, just going for some harass here on Scandal with the range form here, but it's a nice little start for Empire here, getting these important kills, getting the courier, and all of a sudden they're the ones controlling the early game of this game too, a game they have got to win to stay in this tournament.
It also creates a ton of space for Mag, who was somewhat struggling to keep up with the Timbersaw, but now he's up to level 5 and he's just about dead even. Picks up a poor man shield at the side shop, has his boots to go with it as well, and he's going to hit level 6 quickly at this rate, and well, we look at Scandal. There's your 5.5 minute hand of mice, just needs to deliver it, go eat a big creep in the jungle if possible, and he'll be in fantastic shape. Already heading to the jungle.
Yeah, no creep actually there waiting for him, unfortunately. Well, he's got the medium camp. It looks like he'll head there, get one of those blue satyrs, or maybe one of these ogres. But either way, Scandal with a very fast Midas. He's going to start leveling up
He's going
quickly.
all the way top. He really wants a big creep with this first Midas usage, it looks like.
All right, well, we'll get the Centaur and then back up.
I don't know exactly how the math works out, if it's actually worth it to run that far just to get a little more out of your Midas usage.
Yeah, just a bit more XP. The Dark Troll Summoner gives less experience now as well, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think all of the big creeps do. I can't remember.
Not like Centaurs and Ursas, I think, is the same.
Well, Ursas are a lot easier to kill. I don't know if they give less experience. But they definitely got changed in some way.
Yeah.
Either way, well, he used it. That's behind us now, so we'll move on. But yeah, would be interested to see the math as far as how much time is worth it to spend running to get that experience.
Okay. Yeah, Hellbear Smasher HP and HP's being reduced.
Yeah, not the experience though. Okay, so
the
they were a little
bit
too tough to kill anyway.
Yeah, the Dark Troll Summoner experience went down. The Mud Golems, as did some of the Satyrs, the small Satyrs.
I really like the changes to the Ursas because they were just way too hard to kill, especially for certain heroes like Lycan and. Even Nature's Prophet just had a lot of trouble dealing with them.
Yep.
So I think they're a little bit more in line with the rest of the jungle creeps now.
Those things are beefy.
Double smoke.
Okay.
Liquid pick 2 up. Where are they going to go?
I think for Liquid, I guess the big thing is here they want to maybe kill it against the Invoker, slow down his item progression, especially with Bulba having his level 6 now in a haste rune. He can easily be the setup. He pops the range form with a stun, and then out comes the Lich and Crystal Maiden to finish things off.
They smoke it mid. They want to wrap around and kill off this Invoker. Scandal 14 seconds from having the Midas off cooldown. Fluff still hanging around mid. Your Lich heading towards the top. And he'll get up onto the high ground, but Scandal's about to reveal him. Oh, just out of range. But Scandal already going to run to the jungle, uses Midas. The timing's just not there for Liquid right now.
Yeah. He says, Chen, leave me this creep. I've got to use my Midas. And
it is slowing down the Chen, though, because he keeps on bringing these creeps low, not killing them.
Found Scandal, though.
They have found him here. Scandal, though, he's got access to Ghostwalk. Is there a dust? Yes, there is. Scandal. Oh, that's not going to help him get out of here. 3 heroes to send in the middle lane, but he got that value. He used his Midas at least before dying. Still, though, big kill for Liquid.
Yeah, another kill going Liquid's way. Their support's getting more experience. Lich gets up to level 5. Crystal Maiden now going to swing towards top, warding the enemy jungle. Also almost seeing level 6, so it's kind of similar side here. Liquid support just being a lot more efficient with their time, whereas Empire, level 3 on Bane, level 4 on Chen. Liquid are both level 5, almost level 6 on the CM.
Well, Chen it does hit level 5 right now, and it's going to have a very fast mech, so...
Yeah, this is
I don't
better
think
from
it's not as bad. Like, last game it was really pronounced. There was, like, level 6 supports against level 3 and 4, but it's still an advantage for Liquid here, and part of that is just attributable to having a Lich. I mean, this guy is going to pull ahead in levels just by existing. Walks back, denies a creep, and right there just gets a bunch of experience from it, so... I think with Lich it's also hard to keep up, but... Yeah, we haven't seen any big jungle farming from Bankscore. Hasn't gotten any Wildkins and not really able to accelerate his farm.
So as it stands, both teams have just been trading their carries, free farming away. But as far as the other core heroes, the mid lane goes, Bulba heavily out farming Scandal. He's 53 CS to the 36 of the Invoker right now.
The Midas is keeping it even, but when you go for that Midas and get a first blood, you'd love for your Invoker to be ahead. Also, I do find it interesting, Scandal, he took the 1 early point exhort, but only for last hitting. Then he goes straight back into Wex, so not going for the Sunstrike build. Very curious.
Okay.
They are a bit lacking in teamfight control, but I thought they were just going to go for Sunstrike and just rely on like Sleep to set up a lot of kills.
Yeah.
But seems like they want to have some access into late game here as well.
The EMP is really annoying to verse as a Dragon Knight. He's going to have Wand, Treads, Bottle to sort of slightly regen his mana, and he's going to have to rely on teammates to get Arcane Boots. But right now, just Timbersaw with Arcane Boots, and I don't think CM or Lich is thinking about getting Arcane Boots.
Well, meanwhile, Mag has managed to hit level 6.5. He's going to walk right in the middle lane, though. There's already a sentry parked waiting. This ain't going to work. Bulba sees him running through the river. The pain's coming out. They say Mag's on the move top, but indeed he is. Well, Liquid just spotting out every move lately.
Are you sure the new sentries don't actually give you vision around them, though? So.
But they had it's daytime, and they have
they have an observer ward. Yeah, the observer ward.
And the creeps were in the river anyway, so they definitely saw him.
Okay.
Bottom rune, or bottom lane, there's an arrow to fly, but always want to fly will easily skate away. Now the glyph gets forced. Liquid immediately Moonlight Shadow. They'll run out. Do they have a track here for Mag? They wanted to go back in on always want to fly. Fluff just throws his body at him. Tries to get the tower. Can't end up doing it. The deny goes to the bounty hunter, and they get a track kill. It does come at the cost of quite a few TPs, but still I'd say worth it for Empire.
I like that from Fluff, though. He sees that many TPs and thinks, okay, these guys have chasing potential with a Tornado, with a Shikuchi Weaver. I'm just going to throw myself to make sure we don't lose anything more than a Crystal Maiden. And he had a chance at getting the tower, or at least making sure Empire didn't deny it. So Liquid get the mid-tier one as well. So a tower and a half going the way of Liquid, essentially.
Yeah, and meanwhile, Bulba, he ended up top lane, diving on Koikfo's Silent. No, not going to be able to commit. And meanwhile, Bulba got the tier 1 mid, so
yes,
definitely a good trade for Liquid in that regard.
Yeah, Bulba up to 2k gold. I have to see if he still goes for that Shadowblade build that he used to. I remember that one game we saw him recently on Dragon Knight where he got so many countless Shadowblade kills. That was against Na'Vi, I believe, when Liquid actually beat Na'Vi in the group stage.
Yeah, I think it would be good this game too, because their only initiation right now is Arrow and Frostbite, which is not the best. So to me, it is a Shadowblade game.
Yeah, it has been nerfed. It does have a much shorter cooldown, but it's still, you can use it to initiate whenever it's up. So
they're scurrying after Silent. Koikfa's on the hunt. He's got a level 4 Timber Chain here. He might find the angle soon. Silent needs the Sakuchi. He's trying to bait this out, and he'll be okay. Follows a nice trajectory that makes it hard for Koikfa to get in range. He thinks about Timber Chaining into a Chakram, but Silent just playing with fire here. He'll be okay. Meanwhile, mid, Empire rotating in. They're going to walk right down the lane, but you're really going to have a hard time killing this Dragon Knight, and they've already seen the Bay in mid. This is not going to work.
Yeah, I think they've seen most of these heroes. Yeah, they've seen all of them. They've still got that Observer Ward hidden behind the flag. What a sneaky location to put Observer Wards.
Yeah, that Team Liquid flag doing a good job of covering up the ward. Who knew cosmetics could have such an impact on the game, guys?
Cosmetics
is Liquid abusing
Dota 2
their flag?
Confirmed League of Legends.
Is this the newest esports scandal in the world of Dota 2? We're trying to make it one here beyond the summer, that's for sure. Empire, though, they're in trouble. Here comes your backstab from Koikfa. Tornado, EMP, everything thrown out at Fluff, but Koikfa gets the backstab. He's doing all kinds of damage. Now the Chain Frost splashing through. Back to Scandal, back to Always Wanna Fly. Just keeps on hitting heroes. They're gonna lose 3. The tower does fall, but that is a very, very expensive tower. One more nuke. Bulba not able to get in range, but very close now. In fact, has the Shadowblade with one more creep kill.
Yeah, 3 for 1 there. Bulba, as soon as the EMP was on him, he just threw all his spells. He's like, okay, I'm going to lose all my mana. He Dragon-tailed, he used his Breathe Fire, and he did some decent damage there. And the rest of Liquid managed to clean up once Bulba had used all his mana.
And this is the big strength of a Dragon Knight. He's just not a hero you can initiate on without, when the enemy team's there, they're just going to turn around and say, you've thrown all your spells at our tankiest hero, and he still gets off his stun, he still gets off his AoE nukes, and now you're going to die. Great backstab from Liquid, and I think for Empire, you just can't force kills on Bulba like that.
So this whole time, Liquid have a Mirana as well, which is what I've been forgetting about. He's gone for a Phase, Drums, Yasha, similar build to last game, just not going for the Ring of Health, and he's still helping out these fights just by popping his Moonlight Shadow, but once this Mirana starts getting involved as well, things are going to get even harder for Empire.
Yeah, it seems like that seems to be the main reason they prefer Mirana over those other carries is the Moonlight Shadow, because they're not really taking advantage of Arrow at all early on. You just see him farming in the lane. They're not normally setting up early kills. He's not roaming, but just sits in lane, pops Moonlight Shadow, and makes things happen for his team.
TP rotation coming bottom. Bulba wants to go for this kill, but I think he got spotted. He used the Shadowblade too close to tower.
Yeah, Silent already Sakuchiing to the left. Bulba not successful there. Meanwhile, mid lane, they do lose Fluff. Hasted Bounty Hunter now on the hunt. They could even find Bulba here. Oh, he's still invis for Moonlight Shadow. It's not going to last forever, though. Silent scurrying away. Nobody's going to get spotted out here. Everybody's wrapping around. But once the Moonlight Shadow ends, this could be a big opening for your Bounty Hunter. They're going to walk right into TC. Bulba's waiting, though. They'll track immediately. They need a stomp here. They're not going to get it. Bulba just not the hero they want to focus. Maybe it is. Cold Snap's going to set up a Centaur Stomp. He actually goes down. What good focus fire. And the early medallion from Silent making the difference. There was an arrow onto Mag, however, but mech'd up. TC to drop. In comes Koikfa. Can he turn this fight around? No, he can't. Timber chains away. And now Fluff potentially next in line. Does Silent look to dive this? He's thinking about it. Another Centaur Stomp. Good time lapse back. That was a great usage of Cold Snap there. Normally, you just see it as like an annoying spell that keeps a hero stunned, but they Cold Snap, it stuns them just long enough to set up the stop.
One of those fights which was so close to going either way. It was just a matter of whoever gets the jump would come out on top. Bob was looking around for so long, Invis and Shadowblade, then a Moonlight Shadow. If he gets a stun to start the fight, Liquid probably win it, but instead he gets caught out first, he gets tracked up by Mag, and then jumped by the Cold Snap of Scandal.
And he was turning around like mid-stun animation. It looked really bad for Empire with 4 heroes on that bottom lane. Chain Frost was online, but Way 2 just wasn't there. He could Chain Frost to stop the silent TP. He wanted to do it. Bulba's too late. Bank score coming in, though. They have lost 1 hero, but they're going to look to blow up Way 2. He gets off the Chain Frost, but it's bouncing to creeps. Awful bounces for him. Now Scandal, Ghost Walking, dodging the bounce, gets some medical assistance. Now the sleep comes from Always Wanna Fly. It's almost a perfect disengage from Empire, but not perfect enough. Mag caught out. Scandal running to the middle of the fight. Is he going to try and focus down Fluff? If he does, it comes at the cost of his own life, and they know he's nearby. The dust was already used. There's no more detection. He's actually hunting his courier. You know Scandal wants to go for the big plays. He's got a Force Staff. He could maybe kill Fluff and then just run on the way out. Tornado's cooling down. This should be a kill on Fluff.
Oh, Fluff, you've
They don't
won
know
it
where
off
he
alone, and Scandal going to get the kill here.
They did get off the Frostbite, but he Force Staffs away. Quite forgiving chase. It's going to be too late.
Yep. 3
well
Wex.
played by Scandal.
Yeah, he gets all the extra movement speed there, and that dust from Liquid must have been so close to clipping Scandal. They only managed to hit the Bounty Hunter with it. I thought Scandal was in range, but as a result, it's Empire again, once again having a fairly decent fight for themselves. Losing not too much out of that. Only the Bounty Hunter in the end going
they
down.
Shadowblade into the enemy jungle, but a Tornado meant for Quakefa ends up catching Bulba. Actually, yeah, they had the Sentry here, but there was no vision, so it wouldn't have actually seen him coming.
Yep. Well, Liquid lose.
Great Tornado.
That fight there, Liquid lose the Dragonite and Mirana. Both heroes getting their first death of the game, and that's really quite costly for Liquid. They need these heroes to be snowballing and just getting kill after kill and not giving up too much.
And I think the biggest problem is Silent is close to a Lincoln Sphere. So
Yeah.
once he gets that, your Dragonite can't go hunt the Weaver by himself. He's going to need 2-3 heroes to even have a shot at killing him.
Yeah, absolutely. I think at that point, Liquid is just thinking more about the 5-man, focusing other heroes like the Bounty Hunter as well as the Invoker, but there's Chen heals, and that's the other big thing that happened there. Chen now, this game, unlike the past few, we've seen Empire get more farm and levels on the supports. Chen has a mech, has Hand of God, has the Arcane Boots, and has decent levels, so he can actually help out his team a lot more than in the past.
Yeah, Liquid supports have done quite well for themselves as well, but...
Mid lane,
Mid
Bulba.
lane, they've gone in. Bulba trying to bring down Mag, but he's actually doesn't use track, but we'll be okay. Yeah, Bulba diving a bit too far if he had committed to that, and he realizes that he will back off.
Hoping for Fluff to get there a little bit sooner, but not quite in range. And Empire,
even with the phase boots, just hard to get in range.
Yeah. Empire building new items now, and this is something Liquid just don't really seem to have. Ultimate Orb picked up on Scandal. They're going to see a Side of the Vice come up in no time at all to go with the Force Staff. And you've got Bounty Hunter Mag, not with too much items in farm, but the Weaver, his Lincolns, as you said, is going to be up. And with that, this counters so much of what Liquid has throwing at him.
Yeah, and I love the fact that Silent went for this early medallion. Really helped him to slow down Quakefa in the offlane. He was constantly spamming on him when he gets off the right clicks, especially with the double proc. Now he's diving way too deep at the tower, forces out a TP, and I'll immediately time-lapse out. That's a victory right there. And
Yeah.
Now that he's rotated top, seems Empire want to come in. They're going to find Fluff here on the backside. Observer Ward scouts him out. Mag, he'll retreat. Not a place they really want to dive yet.
Yeah, they'll be thinking about this, but they know Liquid can quickly rotate and TP in multiple heroes. Dragonite with a Shadow Blade. They don't really have detection prepared. Empire may want to pick up a gem fairly soon just to deal with this Shadow Blade initiation, because having track doesn't help if he's Shadow Blading in. It only helps once you've got vision of him.
Speaking of gems, TC just picked one up. Not something that Fluff goes for, not something that your Lich goes for. They want to get this mech out, and Fluff just isn't farmed enough, so it's your Mirana, your primary right-click DPS for this team in all likelihood, going back for one.
Okay.
Could be Bulba, who ends up being kind of the carry, but he's a long way from some real damage items.
Yeah, they must be getting annoyed by the Weaver, Bounty Hunter, as well as the Invoker with Ghostwalk, all just escaping them constantly, so...
Well, and TC has shown this gem, so if you're Empire, you're saying, hey, we really want to kill this guy right now.
Yeah, Chen picks up a gem of Empire's own, so
it looks like they're waiting for TC to come kill off the Sentry.
Oh, bottom lane, they've gone in on Mag. It looks like they will get him here. Bulba, once again, Shadow Blade initiations all over the map. He's the player to look out for when he goes through this build on Dragonite.
TC, he almost died top. They came in looking for a Fiend's Grip, just like I want to say like 50 to 100 units out of range was the Bane, and barely unable to get off the grip. If they get the gem back there, that would have been huge. But TC, good defensive positioning, just able to stay safe.
Yep, he's backed off way off this tier 1 tower. But meanwhile, Liquid's getting the tier 2 bottom tower with Bulba pushing that. So this is a trade that Liquid are happy to make.
Here for Empire. And they're going to use it now, but Fluff's waiting on the sidelines. They're going to bring in more. Tornado, EMP, and the Ice Wall. It all flies out on Bulba. Fluff trying to kill him off quickly. He'll drop the Frostbite, but this looks bad. Fluff dropping the huge ult, but everyone just going to move out of it. It's not doing much now. Scandal's on the run, waiting for his Invoke cooldown, retreating to the south side. Is their backup. Everybody trying to descend on way to, as well as Fluff. Nobody dead yet, miraculously. Bulba to the sides, now trying to regroup with his team. Who do they go on? They want Fluff. They'll bring him down, but the Chain Frost bounces. Oh, just not the best.
Oh, good thing.
What? What is that bounce? That was like the absolute max range. As a result, I think they might end up turning this fight around.
With the sleep,
Bulba,
Liquid.
well, still alive. The sleep not really working out there, and Empire forced to retreat out in the end.
That was some
Those
just
bounces
amazing
were
teamwork
just
by Liquid, though.
ridiculous.
Yeah, Liquid were almost in over their heads there, but they managed just to pull something out of the hat there. The sleep toggle helping out there. They sleep Bulba and like, okay, let's sleep Bulba, focus Way2. Way2 immediately puts the sleep on himself. Bulba goes to work. They bring down the Bounty Hunter. That's a really good fight for Liquid. Also getting the Tier 2 tower, I believe, gets taken by the Radiant side. Wasn't denied?
By Bulba.
Cool. All right. Well, the tower was picked up by the Dire side in the meantime. It looks like they got the Tier 1 top tower, but that's a much smaller pickup. The furthest tower away from the Roshan pit, whereas that Tier 2 bottom tower is in pretty close proximity to Roshan.
Yeah, very important for Team Liquid. And, well, the good news, I guess, for Empire is they have picked up the Lincoln Sphere on the Weaver, and he did pick up a gem of his own. So both teams wandering around with the gem. This one was purchased by Vankscore, but Empire now, well, they need to hang on to their gem too. Moonlight Shadow initiation from Mirana, just as annoying to deal with as that Shadow Walk, as well as just all these other Invis heroes in Empire's team.
Okay.
Here comes a smoke from Liquid once again.
Well, they're looking to sort of set things up here in the middle lane. Always want to fly, just seems to be baiting things out a little bit. He drops a Central, Arrow going to go flying. No initiation comes out of Liquid, though.
Yeah, the smoke is going to be revealed. Arrow not connecting there, and now TC. So pushing this middle lane suddenly up to 2,300 gold. Getting close to the Mantis now. Bulba, well, he's farming well. The BKB, it's not the best farming performance we've seen from him on Dragon Knight, but it might be well good enough for them this game. As Fluff comes into the jungle, Frostbite a creep, looking to kill it off, but doesn't want to hang around too long here.
Yeah, it feels like Empire, they're trying to just play this sit back and farm type game with getting the Invoker as side of the Vice, getting Silent his next item after the Lincolns, which presumably would be the Desolator, but I think they're just giving Liquid a bit too much space. Getting a BKB up on Bulba, the Timbersaur's got his Bloodstone, will be working on his next big item, so for Empire, I feel now is really the time to strike. They've got the Bounty Hunter track, they've got Chen to help push down towers, they need to go for a smoke and set something up.
Long range grip on TC, they need to cancel this quickly, that's going to be a gem down. The gem actually is going to hit the deck, I believe. Way2
picks it up.
Oh, he's trying to run away. I don't know if he gets out of here. The tornado comes through. He's going to melt, but he does get off a Chain Frost. Bouncing really well. Mag, not the one with the gem, but he will end up going down. The Chain Frost still splashing through. They want Scandal here. He's got a 4-stab. He's got a Cold Snap coming soon, but the chase is on Wex Invoker. Very hard to run out. He could drop an Ice Wall. He'll drew it now, and that's going to end the pursuit. Meanwhile, from the backside, they're going in onto Bulba. Silence here in the middle of the fight. They try to focus, always want to fly. All the nukes coming forth onto him. Silent forced to retreat out. Always want to fly. Defensive sleep. Not going to save his life, or is it? The mech from low ground to high ground, keeping Vankscore alive, but Liquid just keep on chasing. They get that Bane. They're looking for more. Bulba dispenses with the Chen creep. Now they've isolated Koikfa. It's 3 dead. It could well be 4. Empire just snowballing so hard in this fight. Bulba in trouble. Track's gonna come out. Now the Ice Wall dropped again by Scandal. Second time this clash. Bulba to fall. Silent, he'll drop as well. Another gem hits the deck. Who's gonna come out on top here? Back into the fight is TC. Your Bounty Hunter's bought back as well. Scandal gotta run. Vankscore trying to TP out. No arrow. He'll end up getting away. The last arrow will fall him back to base, but he will survive. Who ends up with the gems there? 1 gem on each team in the end.
Yeah, it looks like Mirana definitely recovered one. So the Chen, okay, Chen still has one as well. So 1 gem for each team. A lot of kills going both ways. Empire, though, they've got the track on their side. These kind of long-lasting fights. The main problem for them is they
Suddenly Scythe.
Oh, well, they lose the Weaver, which is kind of painful for them. Also, it did cost them a Bounty Hunter buyback. So I think with those two kind of taken into consideration, it does kind of end up as almost a break-even type fight. But Mirana showed up again for that fight, made some big plays there, finishing off a large number of heroes, and that's Manta style for TC.
Yeah, he pretty much had it before the fight. Had the ultimate orb, just need to farm the recipe.
Yeah.
So, nice pickup for him, and we'll see what Liquid does from here. But by far the biggest thing is they managed to recover the gem. Empire could have retreated out safely, but they dove for that last kill. They wanted to complete the team wipe, and as a result, end up giving up a gem. They could have had both on their side, and not denying Liquid a gem is a huge win for them. So pretty unfortunate that they overcommitted like that.
Yeah, the other thing that I think way too when he went to when they first went in and killed off TC on the Mirana, way too could have mech'd him. I'm not sure if it would have saved his life there, but he didn't use the mech until he picked up the gem and then mech'd himself.
Well, he really wanted to use the Chain Frost mini stun to cancel Fiend's Grip.
Yeah.
Which I think he thought, I'll do that first, then I'll go back for the mech. But I ended up not getting him out and could have maybe could have saved his life.
Yeah. Well, Liquid going to look to rotate through their own jungle. They do need a deward this here, and that's the big thing is here. Deny vision and map control from Empire. Neither team has gone for Roshan at all yet, which is something Empire will have their eye on, being on that dire side. They've got the Invoker, they've got Chain Creeps, they definitely have the damage to bring it down. It's just a matter of whether or not it's safe to do it against this Liquid lineup.
Yeah, score now 15-12. Very even game. Liquid probably with the slightly better late game lineup here. You've got a Mirana and especially a Dragonite, who may well be the hardest carry in this game if he gets enough farm. Empire just somewhat lacking in the physical damage output later on. They do get a Crystallis on Silent. Scandal's got the Scythe, but if the game drags on long enough, Invoker is a hero that tends to fall off against BKBs, tends not to offer you quite as much damage output as other heroes with farm. So I wouldn't say Empire quite at their peak, but if they're not there yet, they'll be there in the next 10 minutes. And beyond that, if Liquid continue to farm, advantage for this game starts to shift their way.
Yeah, their peak, I think, just comes with these BKBs on Bane and Bounty Hunter, because beyond that, there's not much extra damage output coming out. Weaver maybe is going to finish off a Daedalus and then start looking to tank up, but it's Liquid who have a Mirana who can start scaling, go for a Butterfly, MKB, Dragonite can get an Assault Caress, Heart of Trash, lots of big items can come his way, so definitely Liquid have the better lineup the later this game goes, but for Empire, in the next 5-10 minutes, they can still fight on equal terms with Liquid.
Big smoke gank coming out from Empire. Mag's gonna be farming the creep wave mid so as not to give too much away, but Liquid feeling a bit nervous. They're heading out as a pack in their own jungle. Empire smoking and heading towards top. They do have track on Koikfa. Koikfa should be a bit nervous with this many heroes off the map, but he is about to get caught out. They have a Cold Snap available here, 1 or 2 nukes, and he is just dead to rights. There's your Scythe. Now the EMP comes, and with a Cold Snap, Koikfa, how does he get out of this one? The TP immediately canceled by the Tornado. Still alive, but no longer. He will end up falling. Big kill coming out and killing off that Timbersaw to keep him down.
Yeah, Liquid are near the Roshan pit if they want to try and sneak it nice and fast, but they do not really have the damage output to go for it. So they're instead pressuring this tier 2 mid tower, but they cannot stay here too much longer. Bulba just going to get down to about half HP before backing off, but Liquid, are they actually going for this?
Hex is going to cool down soon. They do not want to stick around here. If there's a timely Hex, a timely grip, and Liquid aren't able to cancel it, this could really fall apart for them.
Yeah, fighting without the Timbersaw would not be a good idea here. Arrow goes flying through. TC, gotta be careful.
Already they've jumped on him. The Scythe has come off cooldown, and now Liquid are forced to engage. BKB Dragonite straight into the fight. The Chain Frost, everything thrown at Scandal, but he's still alive. He's got Ghost Walk here. He's still on the run. One more right click will end up bringing him down. They just stay in vision. TC low, dropping to the bug. Mag able to kill him off. Now Wave 2 on the run. Bulba on the run. The BKB's over, but Timbersaw is back in the house. Can he do enough damage here? There was a buyback from the Invoker. They really want to win this fight. There's your Ice Wall, cutting off the path of retreat. Bulba isolated, driven off, herded into the river. Should end up going down here. Now Fluff's going to be the next casualty. I imagine the Dragonite falls, drops a big ult, but, well, quickly dealt with. A few nukes. Down he goes. They did have to use a buyback here, but well worth it. And the Hex is down again. They're going to go onto Koikfa. Can they kill him off in time? He turns around. He says, I'm not getting out of here. I need to get some kills out of this. He's still alive for now. Arrow off the mark. TC leaping away to safety.
EMP healing up all of Scandal's mana.
What a bloody battle this was.
Yeah, Liquid definitely getting the worst end of that fight, and now it looks like they are just trying to recover. Empire still in the neighborhood and could look to re-engage. Hex on cooldown for 10 more seconds, but looks like most of them do need to heal up there. And the big thing there, Empire, they managed to get both the 2 gems, I believe?
Yeah, they've got one on the Bane, they've got one on the Weaver. So they pick up both.
I saw them
gems.
take Liquid's gem, and they managed to hold on to their own. So they've got both gems. Liquid going to be denied for that vision. They're going to buy Sentry's Dust. Maybe they can rebuy gem in the next couple of minutes, but it's still going to be a very costly investment for them.
I remember that was actually something the Mirana bought. So TC, he had to delay his own item progression to buy that. Did he buy... Oh, and he bought back in that fight as well. So it wasn't just Invoker bought back.
Oh.
It was your Mirana as well. And now we're looking at Bulba, who's just a BKB Shadowblade. Mirana, who's just phase drums Yasha. Great mobility build, but when you go for these items, you skip treads, you go for drums. Your first big right-click item is a Manta. You don't hit hard at all. You need another item after this, like something like an MKB, a Daedalus. So TC not doing much physical damage now. Your Dragonite's still lacking that department. Liquid, they're going to have to find some time to farm here.
Yeah, and that's where Liquid, while they do have the better kind of ultra late game lineup, if they keep trading kills, they're not going to get to that status because they're just not getting the item pickups, like you say. And Well, TC's got to really start. You can't just buckle down and farm at this point, because if Liquid play passive, sit back and farm, that's where Empire takes Roshan, takes all the outer towers, and then starts sieging the high ground. For now, Liquid's continuing to fight because they want to keep their towers up. They've managed to hold on to all their tier 2 towers so far.
Meanwhile, there is an Alpha Wolf being used by the Chen. Sent bottom, and Silence says, great, I'll just push faster with this. Liquid, this is a cute little combo. One of the best pushing creeps. Meanwhile, the mid lane, it's Liquid trying to force this tower, but there's a glyph available. This is just, it feels like a bad, I've got a foreboding sense for Liquid if they try to engage here.
Empire can deny this if they want to. It looks like they may be trying to just bait Liquid in, though.
Does the Weaver actually have Daedalus? No, he's saving for buyback right now. Scandal gonna Midas another creep. The gold keeps on coming in for Empire. From the backside comes Silent, looking for Koikfa here. Liquid forced immediately to retreat out. The track has been used. Several Moonlight Shadows. Bulba caught out, has no mana, now gets Feed's Grip, and he's so far away, but he's very tanky. They need Silent to be right-clicking him. Silent into the middle of the fight. He's got a time-lapse and look to run immediately. They haven't killed off Bulba, but now his BKB's down. 4 heroes track. They've got to run. Liquid do not want to fight now. There's your Alacrity onto Silent. They throw out a Chain Frost. It's a good one. Is it good enough? It keeps on bouncing back into the middle of the fight. Back to these heroes and back to these heroes again. What a Chain Frost. Oh, the bounce is going Liquid's way. 2 for 1 as a result. Chain Frost is one of those ults that can turn a game. Scandal. Remember, he just bought back. He can't afford to die now. They're still chasing. This is such a chaotic fight. On the backside, they've killed off Fluff. Now they're looking for Koikfa. No, they go for TC instead. He bought back early. He doesn't have it now. The track wars continue. Bulba, get the hell out of there. Ice Wall dropped. He can't. He's dead. Tries furiously to buy. Can't even get the Crystallis out, but, well, attempts to do so before going down. And now Liquid have given up a few too many track kills, gods.
These long, scrappy fights just give Bounty Hunter so much opportunity. He tracked like 4 or 5 heroes in that fight. Koikfa, the only survivor, was tracked up at the end. They almost 3 to 4 of those kills were all track kills, and this is what happens when there's these long, drawn-out fights. Empire is so resilient, you can't really kill off any of these heroes easily. Scandal has so many ways to keep himself and his team alive. The Chen with the heals, and Weaver just being so mobile means that Liquid can't finish anyone off, and the longer the fight goes, the better it is for Empire. They get more track gold, they spread everyone out, the Invoker just deals damage over time, and Weaver at the similar story. So for Liquid, they really need to be able to burst down heroes and just get a numbers advantage from the get-go, which they couldn't quite do.
Yeah, and I also think this Hex that Scandal got, there was that earlier fight where, I think it was at the bottom tier 2, I can't remember, but there was a fight that looked like it was good for Liquid, but the thing that happened in that fight was Scandal got Hex, and this Hex has been the comeback item. Ever since they got the Hex, they've killed off the Timbersaw, the fight mid, the Hex cooled down twice in the fight. They ended up getting multiple track kills there. And it's forcing Bulba caught out of position. He quickly gets Hexed. He can't BKB. And then he gets EMP'd. Even if he BKBs after that, he's on the back foot. He's wasted his BKB defensively. Doesn't get to use it the way he wants, which is to BKB and charge into the fight. So for me right now, the MVP is not even a player necessarily, but just Scandal's use of his Hex is what's winning them the game.
Yeah, it really is making a big impact there. As for, we do look towards the rest of Empire team, there's going to be a Daedalus picked up on the Weaver.
And 2k gold.
Oh, this is...
He is a bit squishy, though. He almost died in that last fight, like, instantly when he tried to go in.
Yeah, well, Aghanim Scepter now complete on Invoker, so Empire, on the back of that big team fight and all the track gold they just picked up, are finding themselves some nice little late game items.
Silent waiting to ambush Koikfa. Can't really solo kill him. Koikfa can just Timber Chain away, but he can do a lot of damage. The Swarm comes out. Maybe he can hook at the right clicks. Not getting the crits that he needs, and even so, hitting like a truck.
Yeah, Koikfa down to half HP, and that's without a crit. And Mag is going to show up at the top lane as well. He's got track. If they can try and find Koikfa, as Koikfa tries to push up. Koikfa is going for a Shiver's Guard, so I like this a lot and pick up. He desperately needs the bonus armor against this Empire squad.
Yeah, the bonus armor will help, and I mean, I wouldn't say the reactive armor has fallen off. It's equally good at all stages of the game, but it feels like it's doing less now as Silent just keeps on piling on the damage items. They're going to find Fluff. This will be a track kill. Can't be wandering off on your own like that, and Fluff gives up a freebie.
Yeah, Empire going to steal this Ancient Stack as well, so everything going their way. Liquid, they've been really like pushing out far, even though they've kind of been on equal terms or playing from behind. They still knew that they just feel like they're strongest as a 5-man unit, but they just haven't been able to kill off anyone. They scout this out with an arrow, but it's still Empire with complete and utter control over the Ancients, over this game in general. Yeah,
I'm just looking at TC's farm. Kept up farm all game with the Weaver, but the buybacks and the lack of track gold, he's now 6k gold behind your Weaver. Yeah. That just shows you, I mean, he bought a gem for his team, he bought back, he doesn't have track gold. That makes a huge difference.
Yeah, and the rest, Empire, it's not just the Weaver, it's the Invoker sitting on 15k net worth. Your Bounty Hunter's up to 10k, pretty much on par with the Mirana. So Liquid just don't really have the late game items they need on their core heroes. Like, apart from that, they've got the late game heroes, like, the draft works fine, but it's just not when they don't have items.
Yeah, and it looked like it was going to be a good game for Liquid early on. The lanes were going pretty well for them. Bulba was dominating mid, but it was really that courier snipe early, and then the first blood, which sets up such a fast Midas timing for Invoker.
Yeah.
Even though he's losing the lane, he might as well have been winning it from the way the lanes developed from there.
Well, for Liquid, what do you actually look to do here, do you feel like? They can't really push or
They
move
just
out
have
of their
to
base?
find a way
or-
to stall. Like, Timbersaw can split push pretty effectively. I feel like that's their only option. Oh, Fluff might be going down. There's a BKB for Mag. Blocking himself with his own illusions. Now he pops the phase boots, and they isolate the Crystal Maiden.
Well,
You know,
can't stall by giving away track money.
Oh, Bulba gonna get gripped up mid. He's gonna get caught up. That's another track kill. Liquid just self-destructing here in game number 2.
Try and stall, give away 2 track kills, lose a tier 2 tower. Now Empire going to look to push the high ground here, go for the tier 3. Is there buybacks? It doesn't look like there is. Bulba on the Dragon Knight does not. Crystal Maiden does not. And with this, Empire looks like they will take Raxus.
Well, Fluff's proclivity for wandering around. I mean, it seemed to work great in game 1 when they were way ahead, but when you're behind and you wander off like that, just give away track kill after track kill, and, well, you pretty much put the final nail in the coffin for what was already looking to be an Empire game number 2.
Yeah, and breaching the high ground so easy here for Empire. They've got the Alacrity, the Ford Spirits, they've just got so much damage up with the Vladzor as well coming out of the Chen, and Raxus fall fast. Dragon Knight still's not respawned. Koikba gonna go down here. It gets picked off behind his own towers.
Right click down by Scandal of all heroes.
Yikes.
That's pretty scary. When the Invoker's hitting hard enough to kill you there, you are in all sorts of trouble.
Yeah. He does have buyback here, but he wants to be buying that Shiver's Guard more than likely. So with Empire backing off, maybe we do look towards him just waiting out the respawn timer. But Liquid's going to call GG.
Yeah, GG, track gold and Scythe of Vice pickup from Scandal.
Yeah.
Really the MVPs of this game for Empire. They played great. Liquid, I didn't feel they played badly, but it's just they took a few tough engagements, and when you're up against track and you lose those fights, that's just costs you the game.
Yeah, looking at the gold graph, until the 26-minute mark, it was only a 2k gold advantage at most, but then it suddenly just broke apart. Empire just got track kill after track kill, just started pulling away, and it came with, like you say, the Scythe device pickup as well as the BKBs on Bounty Hunter, which really seemed to make a big difference for Empire.
And I think it also goes to show that you pick up a support like a Lich and a Crystal Maiden. These are just not supports that do much later on. Last game we saw huge disruptions from Fluff and stuff. He continued to be a presence in the game much later on, and this time around, you have him on a support that if the laning stage doesn't go overwhelmingly well, later on, you're just food for the bounty hunter.
If you want something like the Lich Crystal Maiden, you need to go for like your true TC late game carry, your Anti-Mage, your Gyrocopter, whatever, your Spectre, whatever it may be. Getting something like a Mirana, which didn't really scale all that well, kind of was played kind of like as a semi-carry, bought the gem for the team, like you said, and never really did much damage.
I mean, they really do seem to like it just for the ult, so you can gank a lot in the mid game. But I feel like if you're gonna do that, maybe you just pick like a slightly better offlane, like harder offlaner for Koikfa. I'm not sure.
Yeah, the Nature's Prophet instead of the Timbersaw could have maybe been a nice. Well, they first picked the Timbersaw, I guess, but
either way, that's all hindsight. Empire execute well in the mid game, guys. We are headed to our deciding game 3. We'll take a quick break. I'm LD. He's Gods. We'll be right back.